to you the team of Shannon and Vivian from Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Thanks so much for having us, Sarah, and the group. We just wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Shannon McIntosh, and I've been with Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union for over 10 years, and I'm in consumer education. And my teammate,
I'm Vivian Swice. I've also been at Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union for 10 years. I am currently our human resources generalist.
So this is Careers in Finance and Banking, and Vivian and I just wanted to kind of let you know that there is a difference between banks and credit unions. So the analogy, ladies and gentlemen, that I talk about is Coca-Cola and Pepsi, or 7-Up and Sprite. They're basically the same thing. So we're always talking about banking or finance, going to the bank, but a credit union is very similar. We do mortgages, we do car loans, we do everything that a bank does, but the difference is that we do not report to shareholders, we report to our board, and our board is made up of volunteers. We are Schools and Government Credit Union, so our board is made up of people who are in the education and the first responders sectors. So we're talking principals, teachers, retired teachers, a captain of one of the police forces, things of that nature. And we actually work with our C-level, and then they report to our board, who we do not pay, and they are volunteers. Also, every member has $5 in a savings account, so every person is actually a member. Every member owns a share of a credit union. And so I just wanted to speak a little bit about that, and Vivian's going to follow up.
Yeah, so those are the key points and the key differences between a bank and a credit union. So we're going to be talking a lot about careers in banking and finance, of course. So we'll refer a lot to things that are specific to us, which is credit unions. But we wanted to make sure we highlight some of the key points that are making us a little bit different, make us stand a little bit differently from traditional banking, which a lot of times when you think of banking, you think of the bigger institutions, so the Chases and the Bank of Americas and the Commericas, but there's so many more credit unions, and some are very specific, and you have to qualify to become a member by fitting a certain criteria. Us as an organization, when we first started in 1954, we were founded by a group of teachers, so you had to be a teacher, and then as we grew, we expanded to first responders, and now anyone who lives in Michigan or works in Michigan or went to school in Michigan can be a member with us. So as we've grown, our membership base has grown as well. So you'll find that as opportunities with credit unions as well.
Yes. If you work, live, play, or pray in the state of Michigan, you can now be a member of a credit union. So let's go to the next slide, if I can. There. So this is us. Again, I'm Shannon, and this is Vivian.
So when you think of banking and finance, what are some of the first thoughts you may think of? Some things that came to mind for me is constantly thinking about money. You know, you always have to think about money. That's the only thing you're worrying about. That's the only thing you're thinking about. Or very stuffy people in a suit and tie and, the traditional 9-to-5s, and very, very specific group of people that are just very conservative. Or maybe you just think of a teller because that's really all you interact with. I know for me, when I first thought of banking, I would think of, the old movies where you would see them in these large, all marble buildings from top to floor, huge lines of teller lines and rows of tellers, and huge vault that you'd have to take 2 people to crank that wheel just to get it open, and then you get it open and there's gold bars in there. Really, that's not the reality. And I came to that realization when I first started at the credit union. So it's not about money all the time. It's not a serious, suit, stuffy, conservative kind of feel that you may think of. It's far more than just the teller line or teller transactions. There's more to it than that, and we'll dive a little bit deeper into that as we continue this presentation.
Yeah. Banking is very business casual, and it's much more than just accounting and finance. It's much more than take a class at Macomb or Oakland. So we are going to discuss a little bit, about these 9 things that we thought would touch on questions that you might have. So what it comes down to is banks, finance, credit unions. We are all basically people helping people. We got into this this area of work because we wanted to help people, and there's so many different ways to help people, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the variety that are with banks and careers in finance. So why banking and finance?
Yeah. So like Shannon was sharing, we're funded under the philosophy of people helping people. So why is that going to be important? What specifically can a banking or finance person do that's going to impact a person's life? When you think about buying, those huge milestones, so buying your first car, financing a car in general, buying your first home, refinancing your home, having children, those huge life events, getting married, having, estate planning, college, tuition, things of that nature, opening your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, and reaching for your dreams yourself. Really all the adulting things that you get into. These are the things that we do in banking and in finance. So we're all about people helping people, and that's how we help people. So our focus is to help guide people who are not in this industry make the best choices for themselves. So how we do that is by educating members. They turn to us as experts to help them make the best decisions for themselves. If I have debt because of student loans, how do I get out of debt so I can be prepared to buy my first home? Or if I'm getting to the age where I need to start planning for my estate, what do I need to do? What are the steps that I need to take? Or I'm 17 and I need a car. This is my, first time, thinking about these things. I need to plan and prepare, and what do I need to do in order to get to what I want to do? So we want to make people the most educated that they can possibly be, the most informed that they can possibly be, to make the best choices for themselves. And why might that be important? So why do we do what we do? Is it just because we need to close the deal, seal the deal, get the membership, get the loan, get the whatever? It's not about that. When we talk about people helping people, it's more than just getting those numbers. When our communities are successful, that's when we're successful. It's a ripple effect. You have a drop in a bucket of water, and you see that ripple effect. So as successful as we can help our communities become, the more successful that we are. That helps drive our business. And another key important thing that we talk about a lot is mental health. Finance and personal finances weigh on a lot of people, especially now more than ever. And when you help somebody overcome fears or the things that keep them up at night, this is how we help with the mental health piece of it. Preparing somebody and getting them financially stable enough to achieve the things that they want to achieve, that helps take a weight off of them. It helps their anxieties. It helps them feel more comfortable and feel more in control, which all goes into helping with mental health. And then you have your credit scores, which are basically adult report cards, and they're very important. They go with you wherever you go. And a lot of you are probably familiar with that statement. It's extremely important. And what you do when you're younger in terms of your finances can carry along with you. So if you get into credit card debt and you don't make payments and you hurt your score early on, that's going to impact, are you able to get an auto loan? Are you able to get that mortgage? What's your rate going to be? How much is that going to cost you? Shannon does a lot of education with our younger youth, and they talk about that. They talk about hey, if you have a good credit score, this is what it would cost you for this auto loan. If you don't, this same auto loan is going to cost you way more. Your payment goes up, your interest rate goes up, how much you pay the credit union or the bank, wherever you're financing it, goes up. So those are all extremely important things when it comes to banking and finance.
So there's a lot of different things. There's listening and the personability and the problem solving. And so Vivian mentioned the mental health. And so it's not just the finance and the accounting. That can be important too, but it's not actually a prerequisite. So we have different branches and offices, and this is just a picture of our main branch. So when we have a main branch or a main office, that's basically where the accounting department resides and the executives. It's also known as the headquarters. But within that, we have so many different back office positions. So you may just think of the tellers or things of that nature, like the branch managers and the retail side, which is very important. So before I started, I did not realize that there was all of this back office going on. So just for example, like fraud and risk management, that's so much investigative, and that's a whole different set of skills. All the technology and the data, all of the security that we have, it is amazing. And within our IT department, there's information technology, information systems. It's broken down into so many different ones. We have our branch operations that isn't just the retail, but then overseas. How does the person-to-person work with the virtual? And so they're that bridge. So there's all those types of things. And within that is like the IRA and things of that nature. Our records department. Legally, we have to keep records for so long. So you have a whole entire records department that keeps all of the information as we need to do legally, and to keep it organized and to help other people. And how can someone find that if they're calling into the call center? And it is just absolutely amazing what they know and what they do. Then there's vendor management, where all of the different things that a bank is doing, that is like purchasing, but other things. How are we working together with our vendors to get our technology, to do our apps, to do all of these things that make banking a 24/7 experience? Then we have all of the virtual products and services. We just launched our new app about 2 years ago, and that was a huge undertaking. That was training and call center staff and so many different things that went into that. And so there's project managers for those areas as well. And then there's the business lending. So you have your personal lending and then your business lending. So it's not just accounting or retail. It's so many other things that you don't see behind the scenes that people normally don't think of when they think of banking and finance. This is our Troy office. This is actually where Vivian and I are today. And we have 17 locations and we're growing. And so at our Troy office, this is where our human resources is, Vivian. So she oversees training and all of those types of things, new hires, and promotions from within, and we do promote from within. We have our mortgages and our loans here, repayments. When people are having issues or troubles, our repayments department does talk to them. Our facilities department, they take care of all of our branch locations, so they go out to do so. If you have anyone in construction trades, that's facilities. And all of the new branches we are building, and if we are doing renovations on our previous branches, that's what they do as well. Our marketing department is here, so very creative. We have a whole social media person, we have an internal person, we have an external person. Our marketing department is huge, and many people don't think of that because there's scholarships and there's grants and there's the promotions and there's the billboards and there's so many different things that they touch. I'm actually in business development and community relations. I didn't even know that that was a department when I first started. So this is where you have to be social, and you are helping to have us reach different areas, reach different people, work with our branches, work with our communities, work with our schools. So many different things that we do. Year of giving back and just helping our communities. Our call center is massive because we have to be there when someone does call, and then we have a whole virtual. We have a chat. So if you're not really great on the phone or not comfortable on the phone, maybe you can be the chat person. And then we have consumer education, which is what I do as well. So there's so many different departments behind the scenes that people don't realize. They just see kind of the tip of the iceberg. And then we are a growing industry. So we have been in business since
1954. So we've been long-standing and we've grown in that time. And a lot of things that we're going to touch upon, of course, are specific to MSGCU, and some of the statistics we're going to share with you throughout the presentation as well is going to be specific to MSGCU because that's the information we have readily available, right? But it does go along the lines with banking and industry that we're talking about today and finance as well. So longevity with our team members is really important to us, and we have a variety of team members that have been here, between 1 year and 3 years, and we'll share more of that later on. But our internal mobility, so how often we're hiring from positions from within, is 44%. So that's relatively high compared to other industries, relatively high for us in general and for our industry. So we have a lot of growth within, and we take pride in that. We support our team members' growth, and we support that team members want to dabble in different things. So maybe you started in a teller role and you've grown and you got your degree in marketing and you want to pursue that. That's an opportunity for you. Or you started and you didn't know what you wanted to do and you learned more about something like Shannon does in consumer education. And you say, that's what I'm really passionate about. I love getting out into the community. I love to teach. I love to educate. And I want to pursue that opportunity. So there's plenty of opportunities to go around, and honestly, getting your foot in the door because of our internal mobility rate being so high, you have endless opportunities to grow wherever you want to grow. And it's a stable environment. I mean, we're thankful enough that we have not had any layoffs, even during the recession periods and the real struggle periods throughout our 60 plus years that we've been in business. We've continued to grow even throughout the pandemic. We opened branches and we're continuing to open branches. Shannon mentioned we have 17 branches currently. We're planning 3 more, one in Ann Arbor, in Saline, and in Canton. So those are coming end of this year, early next year, which is huge for an industry to continue to grow even throughout the pandemic when a lot of places were closing their doors or consolidating even and focusing more on the technology side. We have found through research that members and consumers don't want just online. As much as that has grown and exploded over the last, even 10 years, the focus is not just online. They want to be able to have multiple different avenues to touch with a person. So whether that's going into a branch, whether that's going to our virtual channel and using the chat, whether that's calling and speaking to somebody who is in our Troy office and they know where they can go to reach them, or whether that's doing everything online and using the mobile app. So with MSGCU, we're one of the largest in Michigan. We've grown quite a bit to reach that level. We have over 135,000 members. We have over a 95% satisfaction rating from our members. So they do a survey for us every year, and every year so far we've had a super high satisfaction rating from our members. So 95% satisfaction rating in this type of industry where you're with consumers a lot is very, very, very uncommon. And with our stability comes our asset size. So we're actually a little bit over $3 billion at this point. We're, I think, $3.2 billion now in our assets. So a lot of stability there when it comes to that. A couple other things that I want to touch upon in terms of our stability, and because we've grown and because we're able to continue to grow and be successful, we're able to offer our team members great benefits. And to younger people, that may not be something that they think of as part of the package deal of their career. But these are things that we want to highlight to individuals because it is part of it. So maybe your base pay isn't as high as somewhere else that's offering you, but you need to think of the whole comprehensive package when it comes to accepting a position or wanting to get into a position. So some of the benefits that we want to touch upon is health benefits. So we have premium free medical plan options. We have our dental plan. We have our vision, all part of the plan when you join MSGCU or banking and finance. And then when we think about retirement, a 401k plan, ours is still the best that I have ever heard of. But these are important things that MSGCU and banking and finance is extremely important to share those benefits. And when you help your team members, you're helping the members, all, like I said, that ripple effect. So when you're taken care of and your mental health is, and you have that stability and you know you have that structure, you know if something happens, because things do happen, you are protected and you're covered. And then the work-life balance is extremely important as well. We know that people need to be able to step away and really get their mind back, getting refreshed. So we offer a very, very attractive PTO plan, in addition to 13 paid holidays. So we're closed because federal is closed with the federal holidays. There's not really much for us to do when things are not being processed on the back end. So we have those 13 paid holidays where you are able to kind of rest and recuperate and take on whatever you need to take on, so you do have that work-life balance.
That's nice.
So touching back on some of the other benefits here, so why it's important to have the health insurance. So what the cost is to you, what is a high deductible healthcare plan? So thinking about all of those benefits and taking into consideration those factors is really important, because a lot of places can offer health insurance, but you have to pay $400 a month for it. So taking into consideration those factors is going to be really important when you really think about the comprehensive package you're being offered. And when you start an employment or a career in finance, it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Each person's going to be a little bit different in what they need and what they require. And then same thing with our 401ks. So 401k retirement options, does the company match what you contribute? Will they contribute anything? What percentage will they match up to? So for us specifically, we have a 7% match with a 3% contribution. So that's 10% MSGC is potentially putting into our 401k. And if we're putting in 7%, that's 17% of your pay that's being put aside for you for retirement purposes. That's a huge deal. I've done plenty of interviews with potential candidates, and I have yet to hear any institution offer better than that, which goes into our benefits package, which is very important to highlight. Tuition reimbursement, we offer that for full-time and part-time team members. In addition to that, it's grade-based. So you have that motivation to kind of kick it into high gear, that if I want to get, my tuition reimbursed, I need to make sure I get a good grade in this class. So some people need that motivation. Some people are self-motivated, but either way, it's a great benefit to have. And whether that's a degree, great. If it's a certification, that's also something that can potentially be covered with tuition reimbursement. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a degree. And then when we talk about the work-life balance, paid time off, you have vacation time, you have sick time, could be all one bank, could be two separate banks that you kind of use and need at a time. But how much time do you get? Do you have to work a certain number of hours to get a certain number of hours of paid time off. These are all factors to consider. For us, you get one bank right up front, and it's kind of, here you go, use as you need, make sure you take your time out, and it's encouraged. It's encouraged to take a full week off. Just, go away, do what you need to do, take a vacation, don't take a vacation, just don't be at work, which is very, very nice to have, because not every industry is like that. And then, like I said before, we have those paid holidays. Before Christmas Eve we're off, Christmas Day we're off, Veterans Day, all the major holidays, Juneteenth. We have all the major holidays that we're closed for because it's a federal holiday, and because of that, we're not able to process things and transactions are not coming through. So we're able to close because we really don't have things that we're transacting on. And the credit union finds value in making sure that the team members are taken care of. And that goes into that. And then schedules can vary. So whether you're in the branches or you're in our back office, it could be a 9 to 5, it could be 8:30 to 4:30. Some team members, like our facilities department, is here so early that they are 7 to 3 or whatever the case is. And then we do have the hybrid option for some remote work. We don't have anyone really fully remote, but we do have hybrid schedules where, for myself as an example, a couple of days a week, 3 days a week, I'm on site, and 2 days a week I'm at home, or vice versa. And we have those opportunities as well. All right. So just a snapshot of links within financial institutions. So just wanted to kind of really display in a visual way how long we've had team members and our longevity and our duration trends. And this is specific to MSGCU because that's the information I have readily available quickly to put together. But if you take a peek at it, so really between 1 and 3 years, and then 5 to 10 years are our largest category. So between 23 and 26% in those two areas. So pretty high rating, not a lot of super new team members because of hiring within. And a lot of people, once they start here, they stay here, which is really nice. We have a lot of flexibility, and people really feel tied to the meaning of what we do. So our mission statement and our philosophy of people helping people, if that's something you're interested in, they hold a lot of value in that. So they really don't want to go anywhere. So, and then if you see between 10 and 15 years and 15 years plus, that's pretty high rating to have, longevity and team members who stick around that long with us. Go back one slide here. So typical income levels, I just wanted to quickly highlight some things that go into the salary and income. So these don't include any company matches or PTO or tuition reimbursement or anything like that. This is strictly just base salary. So any variable incentives or compensation plans that we offer, that's not part of this. So some of these positions that I want to kind of highlight, so between the 30,000 and 50,000 mark, we have 48% of our team members. So this could be our tellers, branch service specialists, any teller leadership, member service representatives, our call center, records, mortgage consultants. Those are the type of positions that would fall into that category. And doesn't necessarily mean that those positions are capped at this range, but this is kind of give you an idea of the income level there. And then when we look at the 50,000 to 100,000, we have 44% of our team members that fall into that position. And that could be an assistant branch manager, region manager, our call center manager, our assistant call center manager, any call center supervisors, marketing, accounting supervisors, finance positions, lending supervisors, and any lending managers as well. So degree levels will vary. So you can have a high school diploma, you can have associates, you can have a bachelor's degree, master's degree. It all just depends on what type of position it is, but they also fall within that category. So it's a variety. You don't necessarily have to have and fall into this one little bucket. And then we're looking at over 100,000. That's our smallest group, which is about 8%. So positions such as assistant vice president, a vice president, and executive. So we're talking our CEOs, our CFO, our CRO, our CLO. So those are part of our executive team. So we're looking at for those positions. Now, like I mentioned before, none of these positions are capped at this range because these are the base pay. So some positions offer a variable compensation plan when it comes to the hourly pay. So depending on performance and goals, so typically you'll have sales goals in those type of positions where you can get a variable compensation plan. So like our tellers or branch service specialists in our retail departments, call center, managers and our agents, those are all working on a compensation plan. So depending on how well they do, and we have team goals. So depending on how well your team does overall, those are the positions that you can earn an additional to your pay. So definitely opportunities to earn more than just the base pay there. Then we have our consultants and our underwriters and our mortgage team and our processors that all kind of fall in that range as well, that earn a variable compensation plan. And they are certified through the National Mortgage Lending Servicing, so NMLS. So that really means that federally they've been kind of vetted and they are able to take mortgage applications or home equity applications. It's a pretty extensive category that you kind of have to get into. You do have to have those numbers in place in order to do any kind of application for mortgages or home equity lending. You get fingerprinted, you kind of go through the whole thing just to make sure that you are no criminal background or anything like that could hinder this large sale. So just something I wanted to point out there.
So thank you. Vivian is just a wealth of information. So we just wanted to kind of tell a little bit about our stories. I'll go first. I do not have a business or an accounting degree. Kind of funny. But I have been working at MSUCU for 10 years. I have an English degree, English literature and linguistics. I have a master's degree. And I worked at General Motors for a while. I worked kind of around town. I worked at Macomb Community College. I taught English as an adjunct instructor. And then I found this position. And this position is, yes, I get to work with schools and with adults, and I get to kind of share knowledge and explain things. So I do have that teaching. I do not have a teaching background or a certificate, but I'm also like an event planner. So I'm planning events. I'm helping with business development and community relations as well. So that could be a reality fair, that could be a grand opening, that could be a grand reopening, that could be a scholarship reception. So it's very personable. It's very in front of people. It's listening. What do people need versus what they're saying? It's asking a lot of questions, and it's problem solving. I also do some purchasing a little bit for my department. So you really have to be flexible and open to what you want to do. I have been one of the few people that have not moved throughout the organization because my job is different every single day, and I like that. I live and die by my calendar. I can be remote. I'm mobile. So I like the variety that does give me.
The opposite from Shannon, I've moved quite a bit. So I'll share a little bit about my background. I started here. This was my second job I've ever had. I was a part-time teller at one of our new offices at the time we were hiring for, and I kind of got in and started my way from the bottom. And very early on, I think it was probably my second week in the new branch, where I was like, yeah, this is a little different than I ever thought it would ever be. And I got the feeling of, yeah, this is the place I'm going to retire from. And it hasn't changed, and I've been here 10 years now. So I started as a part-time teller, worked my way to full-time teller, at a different office, went to our Troy office. From there, I was a member service representative, went to a branch service specialist. I became an assistant branch manager. I was a branch manager for all of that in retail for about 9.5 years. And then most recently in April of this year, I moved over to our human resources department as a generalist, which is very different. I worked with members and team members and in leadership for so long, and my degree is in business. I have my bachelor's degree in business, and it was a focus in leadership. So to go from that to back office where I'm not directly with members is a very big change for me. But when I thought about what I loved most about what I do here and what I'm able to do, it's the people I get to work with, like this lady right here, that really makes the day go by. And it doesn't feel like work when you're working with people that are just so awesome. So I said, what department is really focused on the people that work here? And it's our human resources. That's who bring on the new team members. That's who coach the new team members. That's who train the new team members. And that's who help performance management with the team members. So that was just a very natural fit for me to migrate to, and the opportunity came up. And it's been a great change. I've been very, very excited to see the different aspects of the credit union when I've worked in retail for so long, but it was never an area that I thought I was going into. I thought I was going to just be in the branches for the rest of my life, and I loved it, and I still would go back to this day, but it's a different challenge and a different opportunity. Like Shannon was saying, it's something new and exciting and different every single day. I have to live by my calendar because you never know what's going to happen. And I recently went back to MSU online, and I received a certification in human resources and talent management. That was a certification I chose to go back and do and pursue. It wasn't something that was required of me, but I knew I wanted to learn more and grasp more of human resources because I thoroughly enjoy it. So that's what I decided to do. I didn't need to add on to my degree. I chose to. And when you're passionate about something and you're excited about something and you crave that knowledge and you crave the education piece of it, there's opportunities for you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a business degree or an accounting degree or a finance degree or be specific and fit yourself into a bubble that you think you need to fit into. So that's a little bit about us and our story.
And I also have I'm a certified credit union counselor. So the company paid for that. People were asking me a lot of questions about credit, and I really wanted to make sure that I had all of the right information and skill set. So that's something that I also did as well.
Yeah, me too. So moving on to how we can get started in the industry. So something that's really important to start. I mean, you need your high school diploma. So there's the bare minimum that you would absolutely need to have high school diploma or equivalent. So GED is also okay. You need to be at least 18 years old. And then you have to have some cash experience. So whether that means you were a cashier at Target, which is my first job, by the way, you can do that just as long as you've had at least 6 months of some type of cash handling experience. So you'd want to take a look at that. And like I said, that helps you get your foot in the door. That helps you get started, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to be stuck in that position forever. Like our internal mobility is 44%. So the opportunities will come. It's what you decide to do, what you decide to pursue. So if you're looking to have higher level positions, some may require a degree, some may require specific years of experience to kind of be equivalent to having a degree. So it just depends on what you want to pursue. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be in business or in accounting, like I mentioned before. And then we do check credit, and like I said, that adult report card is extremely important. So within a financial institution, which is common in the industry, you do have to have clean credit. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a perfect credit score or anything like that, but for example, your repayment history for the last 12 months has to be Perfect. No late payments, nothing like that reported to your credit report. It may be a little bit stricter in financial institutions because of the nature of the business and what we do. I mean, if you're educating people on finance, you kind of have to have that kind of in order, and that's something that's really important to kind of maintain. In guiding somebody on their credit and their finances, it goes to credibility. So if you are struggling to make your payments and things like that, and you're kind of trying to financially counsel someone or share your experiences with somebody, that doesn't really align all that well if your credit is not in tip-top shape. And then there's higher risk for financial loss. Could be team members doing lending or theft or anything like that. So it goes to the security and risk when it comes to the credit report that we view. And then, like I said before, it speaks to trust and responsibility and accountability. So all important factors that an employer is going to want to consider when looking for employment.
And then we are people helping people. So other banks, other credit unions, we all give back to our communities. So this is just kind of a picture. We do a year of giving back where each of our branches give $1,000 to a local organization right near them. We have now 17 branches, soon to be 20. So we're giving that money into our areas to help that economy, to help those places. We also have done library donations for local elementary schools because during the pandemic, many of the students took the books home and they didn't bring them back. And the libraries and the librarians were like, that's great, the books are in the schools. And we said, you know what, but the libraries still need books. We've given to foster programs, to shelters, to local police departments for the canine dogs. We've given to Habitat for Humanity, and we do that as a business, as an organization. And then on the side, we have a lead team here, and this team is comprised of volunteers that we work with, and they say, you know what, these are important. So they'll have a bake sale, or they'll have sell flowers, or we'll do like raffle baskets that are in service. And so we help like Habitat for Humanity, Wigs for Kids, Pets for Vets, Snow Pile, you know, all those types of things. We give scholarships to high school students, college students, teachers continuing their education, because that's our special interest group, special education group, and we give out classroom cash grant programs to teachers. So we're really trying to do, you know, what we set out to do. So we know that this generation, this demographic really wants to help our communities and, you know, our areas and our fellow man. And so we're really trying to do that. Even other banks will do like the lemonade stands and things of that nature. Everyone has their little niche. And so we just really wanted to let you know that we are proud to really help our communities. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and we have a video. Is our commercial? Does it work? No. Lovely. Oh, use the phone aside. Okay.
Yeah, quick video here.
We have a lot of security. So as I said before, we have so many different security loopholes to jump through. Even though we're on site, we are actually using our laptop. And this link was actually put in case we can't get it up right now and actually pull it up. But I'll cross my fingers.
So this is one of our commercials that we put together recently, and it quickly talks about being a financial champion and what that means. So our brand and what we kind of are focused on is being financial champions and what that means to us. So tying it all together with what we're talking about, people helping people, and really focusing on what that means to really the communities that we serve. So being a financial champion is really being a champion for our members. And whether you're front facing in the branches with the members, educating them, guiding them, counseling them, regardless of what that even helping them with just a typical transaction, processing a check deposit or whatever that is. Every day and everything that you do impacts our members and how we help them. So that is being a financial champion to us. And if you're in back office, all the support you provide to the front end teams all trickle in, all go into the story of how we helped a member. Something that we do here is recognize team members through what we call as financial champion moments. And these are team member to team member or leader to team member recognitions. And we highlight how important and how valuable every interaction is that has gone above and beyond the traditional call of duty for a member. So let's say a member comes in and they need to deposit a check into their account, and it's a fairly large check. And as a teller, I'm looking at it and I'm just making sure that this member knows where these funds are coming from. So I'm just asking them some high impact questions. And I uncover that they received this check in the mail, and the person that sent them the check is asking for a portion of it back. Well, that's a trigger to me that this could potentially be fraud, because I've experienced it. I've been here, I've been around the block, I've seen it happen to members. There's scams all over the place, and our risk department shares with us common scams that are happening regularly. So I, knowing this, and I've asked this, this member this question, I can now take a pause and ask a little bit more. Do you know where the funds are coming from? Did you ever interact with this person? Can we put this check on hold? What did they ask you to do with it? How are they contacting you? How did they get your address? How did they send it to you? What did they ask you for? So lots of different questions you can ask, where typically somebody comes in to deposit a check, you're going to deposit the check and move on, right? You're just going to do the perceived need, take care of what they ask you to take care of, and kind of move on. But with being a financial champion, and what we want to do for our members is really take care of them and be the philosophy of people helping people. We focus on not just sticking to their perceived need, but really looking at their unperceived need. Now, this member may have been like, look, it's easy money. They asked me to do this, this, and that, and I was going to get paid for it. Well, now you're going to be out that money if we put this deposit in and it's a fraudulent check. So let me take a look at it. Let me make sure it's not fraud. Let's put a hold on it. Let's make sure these funds come back legitimate before we proceed with anything. So taking that extra step and pushing it that extra mile makes you a financial champion. But it wasn't just you. You have to send it to our fraud department. They do a thorough investigation and they can uncover things. Now you have your teller leader who may have helped you and guided you and checked that routing number and account number on the check to see if it was fraud. You have lots of different aspects and avenues and people that are supporting you, whether that's front end or on the back end, that are taking the time, our accounting team, that will verify once the check comes through. Hey, no, this check, you were right, it's bad, and I'm glad you put a hold on it, because now this member's not out this money because we put a hold on it. So it all kind of ties together, and it goes together, and like I mentioned before, it's that ripple effect. One little drop in the bucket creates that story for us. And every position that is in the banking and financial institution plays an important part, and it plays a significant part. And ultimately, it's all people helping people, whether that's Shannon and I working together on this presentation. We're together working on this. That makes us financial champions, because we're able to educate and share a story and share what we're about.
Awesome. Vivian, I'm sorry to cut you off. We're running out of time.
Sorry.
Sorry. We wanted to be able to leave a few minutes for any specific questions. Specifically, again, this focuses on, getting students out of high school into this world of work, which you guys did an amazing job talking about those different access points. Kelly from Roseville specifically said, can a person come straight to work out of high school? And you did address that. They needed to be 18 years old, have some cash experience, and coming in at that entry level is a good move for them, because there's a lot of growth within your company. You know, we always have students, we're trying to tell them what degree to get or what certificate to get in order to launch into a career. And I appreciate that you answered that as well, that there's lots of different opportunities for just a wide range of education levels. So that's fantastic. Shannon, I wanted you just like in 30 seconds to talk about your reality fair, like your role, because again, you're in front of educators right now.
So real quick, basically any educators or counselors, if you're interested, Reality Fair, we give the students a job or they pick it. Here's what you make every year. Here's what you have every month that you take home, your net, and then you go to 12 booths: housing, food, surprise, leisure, and can you live within that budget? There's a whole sheet. They do the math. They have to freak out. It's very chaotic. It's very life. And it's a lot of fun. And so it's kind of an event, and it goes into the event planning portion of what I do. But if you're interested, please send me an email. I'd love to chit chat with you about it. And Vivian is also a wealth of information of any HR and entry level questions you might have.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope Vivian and Shannon, you can see the chat. Everybody is lighting you guys up and extending their gratitude. I know it always feels good, right? You put a lot of time into this today, and we're so grateful. And in this community, especially in Macomb County, you guys were Macomb Schools and Government at one point and have evolved to the whole state. So that says a lot about the company itself. So I know that was my first checking account for sure when I was a substitute teacher many years ago. But thank you so much. As a reminder,